Hey there, thanks for joining me today. I've got a story to share, a wild ride of love, betrayal, and finding my way back. It's raw, it's real, and it changed how I see trust forever. So, let's dive in. I thought my marriage was a fortress, imperfect, perhaps, but unyielding. Audrey and I had built a life over years, weathering squalls of doubt with the stubborn resolve of two people in love. Or so I believed. The fracture crept in like frost-splitting stone. Her morning kisses vanished, replaced by distracted glances. Notes on the fridge, once scrawled with affection, ceased. I told myself it was stress, that life's weight could dim even her light. But this was no fleeting shadow. Her late nights grew frequent, her answers curt. "Just out," she'd mutter, eyes glued to her phone, its glow a wall between us. When I pressed, "Out where?" Her sigh was a blade, sharp and dismissive. The woman who once shared every thought now offered one-word replies, her indifference a new wound. Her phone became her shadow, always in hand, its screen tilted away. At night, its light carved the darkness as she texted. "Who's that?" I'd ask, my voice steady but my heart unsteady. "Just a friend," she'd snap. "Why do you care?" One night, in the quiet of our shared bed, I could bear it no longer. The weight of her distance pressed against my chest, suffocating. "Audrey, what's wrong? Why are you acting like this?" Her sharp exhale cut through the silence. If I had something to say, I'd say it. "Let me sleep, Nick." The words landed like a stone in still water, rippling through me. I lay awake, the ache settling into my bones. Days later, a friend's call shattered my denial. "Nick," he said, his voice heavy, "I saw Audrey with a man. They didn't look like just friends." The world tilted. Denial surged. No, not Audrey, not my wife. But the pieces fell into place, the late nights, the locked phone, the coldness. The truth was a quiet certainty I'd been too afraid to face. I needed proof, something undeniable she couldn't twist. Her phone, now a fortress of secrets, was my only lead. She guarded it fiercely, never leaving it unattended, its screen always angled away. But one night, she left it on the couch, stepping into the bathroom. My pulse thundered as I reached for it, fingers trembling. I swiped to unlock it, but the password, once shared in trust, had changed. My stomach twisted. This wasn't caution, it was concealment. I replaced the phone, my resolve hardening. She'd slip eventually. People grow careless when they feel safe. In those fractured days, I found an unexpected ally, Claire, Audrey's best friend. Our conversations, born of shared concern over Audrey's coldness, became a lifeline. Her empathy, her unflinching honesty, steadied me. When Audrey announced she was grabbing something real quick, her vagueness sparked my instincts. I followed, keeping my distance as her car wound to an unfamiliar house. She knocked with the ease of routine, and a man I'd never seen opened the door, his smile too familiar. My phone trembled as I snapped photos, capturing the moment my marriage crumbled. She stepped inside, the door closing behind her. I sat in my car, the weight of betrayal sinking in, then drove home in silence, the images burning in my mind. That night, Audrey returned, her face a mask of normalcy. The charade was unbearable. I called her to the living room, my voice unyielding. "Sit down." She sighed, arms crossed, her eyes daring me to speak. "End whatever's going on, Audrey, or we're done." She frowned, her voice flat. "I don't know what you're talking about." I showed her the photos, her laughing at his door, unguarded. For a moment, guilt flickered in her eyes, but it vanished, replaced by fury. "You followed me," she snapped. "That's sick, Nick." Her deflection was a fresh wound, her anger a shield for her shame. I nodded, cold resolve settling in. "Okay. Got it." The next week was a silent war. We shared a house but lived as strangers, the air thick with unspoken truths. She didn't explain, didn't try to mend what was broken. I refused to beg for her loyalty, that was desperation, not love. Quietly, I visited my lawyer, setting the wheels of divorce in motion. If she wanted him, she could have him, but not at my expense. My bond with Claire deepened, her warmth a contrast to Audrey's coldness. One morning, as I buttoned my shirt for work, Audrey's voice broke the silence. "I'm making you dinner tonight." I froze, her words jarring. She hadn't cooked in months, hadn't looked at me with warmth. Now, she stood by the dresser, scrolling her phone, her offer calculated. Was this guilt? Manipulation? All right, I said, my tone neutral, unwilling to show my hand. That evening, the scent of home-cooked food filled the air, a ghost of happier times. Audrey moved with practiced grace, setting plates, pouring wine, her smile too polished. We ate in silence, the clink of silverware and the weight of unspoken words our only companions. Halfway through, I set down my fork, my gaze steady. So, have you ended your affair? Her smirk was instant, defiant. I'm leaving you, she said, her voice ablade. I exhaled, amused rather than broken. Those words, once devastating, now felt like freedom. I rose, retrieved the divorce papers, signed, ready, and slid them across the table. Perfect, I said, my voice steady. Her confidence wavered, her eyes darting to the documents. Then, the doorbell rang. She stiffened, unprepared. I opened the door, and there stood Claire, radiant, her presence a quiet rebellion. Meet my new girlfriend, I said, stepping aside. Audrey's face collapsed, shock, betrayal, regret. She'd played her game and lost. Audrey unraveled, her calm shattering into fury. She yelled, called me unhinged, her voice a torrent of accusations. I stood unmoved. The papers were her choice, sign or face the courts. At first, she feigned acceptance, but when reality hit, she turned vengeful, determined to make me suffer. In court, she played the victim, her voice trembling with rehearsed sorrow. She branded me controlling, manipulative, even abusive, claiming I'd caged her spirit, isolated her, left her worthless. Her lies, spun with conviction, swayed some jurors. My chest tightened, her words a blade twisting in old wounds. But I was ready. My lawyer presented photos of her at her lover's house, text messages screaming betrayal, bank statements tracing our joint funds to her affair. Each piece dismantled her facade. He spoke of the months I'd spent questioning my sanity, the toll etched in sleepless nights and a fractured heart. The judge's gaze hardened on Audrey. When the ruling came, assets split fairly, my earnings protected, defeat flickered in her eyes. She'd thought she could ruin me, but her deceit betrayed her. Leaving the courtroom, I felt a fragile peace, a weight lifted but not erased. No one walks from betrayal unscarred. Claire and I grew closer, her appreciation a contrast to Audrey's coldness. Yet, a quiet fear lingered, I'd always be waiting for the next betrayal. Trust, I learned, isn't given, it's earned, and once shattered, its pieces never fit the same. Could I love again? Not now. Love feels like a flame too close to a wound, and I was burned badly. In the ashes, I found truth. The deepest betrayals come from those we trust most. The best revenge isn't rage, it's rising, living well, becoming untouchable. Audrey regretted her choices. I saw it in her defeat. That was enough. My scars remain, but so does my strength, forged in a fire I refuse to let consume me.